everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shit Scrapper. So today we are here with another 2-page layout. This one is definitely an outdoorsy, kind of boyish collection or layout, but super fun to do. So I decided to back the white piece of paper that I'm going to use as my background with that map. However, I wanted to use the map for the second page. So I was watching Laura Alberts, I believe that's how you say her name, on YouTube, and she suggested kind of cutting them in strips and then taping them on to give it the look, but to conserve as much of the paper as possible. When she did it, she was just backing a picture, but I decided that I was going to try it backing a whole layout. I wanted the map paper to go all the way from the top to the bottom on the second page, and I knew that it wouldn't if I would have just gutted the inside of the paper like I usually do to border a page. So I tried this. It worked out pretty well. I did have to kind of go back and glue it down even after I taped it down just to make sure it stuck. And in the corners where the paper overlaps, I glued that down as well. But it did give it, it wasn't too hard, I guess. And then it allowed me to use this whole piece of paper right here on the second page. So I kind of got inspiration, or not kind of, I got inspiration for this layout from two different layouts. So one of them was a 2-page layout using circles. I decided to use hexagons though. And then another one, usually I'll just do the same size hexagons throughout the page. But another layout that I had seen along the way changed up the sizes of the hexagons, and I liked that look as well. So to prepare for this layout, I have a hexagon punch, and I use those for the most part. But then to change up the size of the hexagons, I used my Cricut. And I had a 6x6 pad of paper that I was utilizing, and so I just made sure that the largest one I used would fit on that 6x6 paper pad. And so those two that are down on the page right now, those are about 6 inches wide. So that's kind of how I did that. And then I just kind of shrunk them inch by inch to give the different sizes and to just use up what paper I had. I had some scraps left over, so whatever size would fit on those scraps is kind of what I cut. So right here, I am working on my title. So after Gatlinburg, my husband took our oldest to Alabama from Tennessee and to visit his family and pick up our nephew. So I had just a handful of pictures to scrapbook from that quick little visit. And so that's what these pictures are. So here you can see me use the different sized hexagons. I believe my punch is 2 inches across, and I think that navy plaid is maybe 3 inches across. In the 6x6 paper pad, there was this little cut apart, and I wanted to use that because they are actually in the pond on some canoes, so I figured that was appropriate. And that's kind of why I chose to have the big hexagon with those paddles. I didn't know when else I would use that paper, so I wanted to kind of utilize it here and kind of make it a focal point. At first, I thought the only pictures were going to be them in the pond with this layout, but turns out I only had 2 other pictures from this small little trip, and I had so much open space that I just used one of the pictures on the second page as well to fill in that space. So we'll get there, but that is kind of why I chose the paddled paper, and then the cut apart that I'm putting up on foam right here. So this layout turns out to be super busy because the hexagons are all on different pattern paper. I may go back and see if I can remove a couple of hexagons. I'm not sure, but we will see. I think it might actually already be in an album, so my guess is I probably won't change it up, but it is quite busy with all the different patterns, but it is what it is, and I do kind of like the outcome. So I forgot that I had cut out smaller ones too, so these might just be an inch apart, and I just kind of scattered those around to fill in some of the open space that the other hexagons left. The problem I was coming across with using the different size hexagons, I like such a uniform look that it was hard to kind of fit them together. From what I could see, like right there, it works. But to add some more like to the top right, it just wouldn't look uniform, I guess. So I wanted to do some journaling, and so I just made my own lines there, just using my T-square, and so I journaled, and then the reason I journaled ahead of time or during the video and not after was just to kind of embellish around it, see what else the layout needed, because a lot of times when I do either draw lines or have journaling cards, I don't fill out all the lines, and so then I end up using kind of some embellishments to fill in the open spaces and whatnot. But I did find, I think it's this One Canoe to Creekside sticker sheet to the left there. It said road trip, and it had that cute little canoe, so I did use that to embellish a little bit more. And then I had these two more pictures of them in the pond with the kayaks and whatnot. And so I wanted them kind of to go up and down vertically on the right-hand page. Again, I'm kind of copying a layout I saw, but obviously putting my own spin on it. And so they had, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 pictures, but I knew that my 2 pictures, since they were both vertical, would line up perfectly on that side. And then it was just kind of, again, messing around with the hexagons, trying to place them, figure out where I wanted them, what to do with them. I had cut out quite a few of them and have honestly extras of them, so maybe for another layout it won't be as busy. I won't use as many. We'll see though. But I had that chipboard piece. This is I think it says my favorite place, and honestly my son, he would move to Alabama in a heartbeat to spend time with his grandparents and his cousin. He's already talking about visiting next summer, and so I knew that chipboard there was just perfect because this honestly is his favorite place, I think. So here's that third picture I was gonna do a second layout with, but decided to use this picture and put it on there to fill in the space. And so I did kind of do the same thing border wise with this one. I had this orange piece, but it wasn't enough to back the whole thing, and so I just cut small strips and made it look like I double backed this picture, first red then the orange, to offset the other 2 pictures. I had done the orange and then the red, and this way I did this one kind of left a gap in the corners. So I'll have to keep working on it, maybe watch Laura again to see exactly how she did it, just to fix my technique, I guess. But I do end up placing that picture up there. That's him with his grandpa on the tractor. So again, not really water themed, but outdoorsy, and I needed to fill that space. Otherwise it would be hexagons galore and even busier than it already turns out to be. So I do tuck that under some of the hexagons there. And then, like I said, it's just kind of playing with the rest of the hexagons I have cut out, trying to figure out kind of which ones to use, what patterns, what sizes. I think those are the 3-inch ones. It was just really hard because on the left-hand page, you can kind of see I did tuck one back behind the big paper. So then it was kind of like, well, do I want to do that again on this side or make them line up? So quite honestly, I don't even remember how I finish it off. So I guess I used the bigger hexagons there and really kind of cover up that top picture. I probably should have put that white and red patterned one under that picture, because I do feel now that I'm looking at it that it kind of covers it up too much. So then I just added some other ones up on foam dots and placed them kind of scattered all around. And really, I think that we're nearing the end of the layout. I do know that I think it's the Creekside One Canoe 2 sheet had paddles on it. And because, I have all that paddle paper, I kind of wanted to incorporate the paddles on the paper or on the layout as well. So here's where I grabbed the paddles. I thought I wanted it up there, and I kind of finished it off even with that heart, but then I decide I don't really like that I left that white stripe to the right of the layout, so I move it down just to kind of break it up a little bit, have them kind of crisscrossed, and I think that finishes out the layout. I might add a couple more enamel dots. Here's some kind of arrows to finish that off. It was kind of white down there. So that is going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed the layout. Like I said, it's quite busy, but I like the way it turned out. And we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.